Ladies and gentlemen, there's a secret that separates the few who rise from the many who settle. It is not talent, it is not luck, it is not connections. It is the decision to do the hard things. When the alarm rings at 5 a.m., most roll over. When opportunity comes dressed in overalls, most turn away. Growth never visits the doorstep of the comfortable. It doesn't knock on the door of those who sit still, hoping success will find them in the softness of routine. Instead, it thrives in discomfort, in struggle, in the space between what is and what could be. The moment life becomes too easy, too predictable, too padded, your potential begins to sleep. And a sleeping potential is a tragedy waiting to happen. Comfort is seductive. It whispers promises of rest, of safety, of peace. But it's a deceptive peace, like a warm bed that keeps you from rising to meet your destiny. While comfort lulls you into stillness, time keeps ticking, opportunity keeps moving, the world keeps spinning, and those who dare to chase discomfort pass you by, not because they're better, but because they're willing to be uncomfortable in the pursuit of something greater. Look around. Growth doesn't happen in soft soil. Diamonds are born under pressure. Steel is forged in fire. Muscles grow through resistance. Likewise, your mind, your will, your capacity all expand through challenge. You cannot become stronger avoiding the very things that stretch you. When you eliminate struggle, you eliminate strength. Think of every breakthrough you've ever had. It didn't come when things were easy. It came when you were tested. It came when life demanded more from you and you dug deep and delivered. Discomfort was the doorway, and you walked through it. That's not coincidence. That's the universal law of personal evolution. Discomfort forces clarity. It strips away the fluff. In discomfort, the real you shows up. Comfort, on the other hand, is a liar. It tells you you're fine just where you are. It tells you to wait, to relax, to let others carry the weight. But every minute you spend in that illusion is a minute you give away your power. Progress never comes wrapped in a blanket. It comes armed with challenge, asking you one question: are you ready to grow? The most dangerous thing about comfort is how quietly it kills ambition. You don't even feel it. It doesn't scream, it whispers. You go from dreaming big to settling small without even realizing the shift. You stop striving. You justify stagnation. You call it balance or taking a break, but deep down you know you're avoiding the hard things. And avoiding the hard things means avoiding the very things that would make you who you're meant to be. You weren't built to coast. You weren't designed to settle. The very structure of your brain thrives on challenge, adapts to hardship, and rewards you chemically when you overcome. Comfort starves that system. It puts your life in neutral while the engine is still running. You may not crash, but you also won't move forward. And in this world, standing still is just falling behind in slow motion. So ask yourself this: where in your life have you traded growth for comfort? Where have you stopped climbing because the couch felt too good? Where have you accepted less because chasing more meant effort? If you're brave enough to answer, you're strong enough to rise. The road to greatness has never been paved with ease. It's not the smooth, well-lit streets that lead to extraordinary lives. It's the uphill climb, the uneven trail, the road filled with thorns and storms. If the path is hard, it's because it leads somewhere worth going. And if the path is easy, it almost always ends in mediocrity. Greatness does not lie in shortcuts. It lives at the end of a road so few are willing to take. The truth is, most people avoid the hard path not because they can't walk it, but because they're afraid of what it will demand. It demands sacrifice, it demands pain, it demands long nights of uncertainty, countless moments of doubt, and a brutal kind of honesty with yourself. But that very demand is what transforms you. The struggle sculpts your identity. The hardship reveals your strength. The pressure forces you to rise above who you were yesterday. There is no greatness without resistance. No legend was ever born in comfort. Warriors are not forged in peace. Champions are not raised in silence. They are shaped in the furnace of discipline, failure, and unwavering commitment to a mission bigger than comfort. Every person who has ever carved their name into the walls of history walked the hard path when others turned away. And they didn't walk it because it was glamorous. They walked it because they had to. What makes the hard path powerful is not just where it takes you, but who you become along the way. The road changes you. It changes your doubts into confidence, your fear into fire. On the hard path, you don't just chase goals. You build the resilience to handle the weight of them once you reach them. And that's what separates those who simply wish from those who win. Many will start on the journey, but most will stop when the terrain gets rough. They'll say it's too much, too uncertain, too slow. But those who stay, the ones who keep walking when their legs ache and their spirit shakes, those are the ones who earn the view from the top. Because the view is always better from a summit that nearly broke you. You must stop expecting the path to get easier. It won't. The truth is you get tougher. The more you walk the hard path, the more you condition your mind to endure, to adapt, to rise. You begin to crave challenge, not comfort. You seek out struggle because you've learned that everything meaningful is earned, not given. And that shift in mindset is the key to unlocking levels of yourself you never knew existed. Choosing the hard path is not a one-time decision. It's a daily vow. It's waking up and deciding again and again that you will not settle for average, that no matter how long it takes, how heavy it feels, or how many times you fall, you will keep showing up. Because greatness doesn't require perfection, it demands persistence. The world doesn't reward potential, it rewards performance. And performance is sharpened by pressure. So the next time you're standing at a crossroads and one road looks easy and the other looks brutal, trust the hard one. Trust it not because it feels good, but because it's the only road that leads to the person you're capable of becoming. The hard path doesn't break you, it reveals you. Success is not something you stumble upon. It does not land in your lap because you hoped hard enough or made a wish on a lucky star. It is not granted by luck nor gifted by fate. Success is a reward, a payment given only to those who earn it through relentless effort, unwavering discipline, and the courage to keep going when everything screams. You don't get success just because you want it. You get it because you work for it. There are millions of dreamers in the world, people with visions, ideas, and desires, but dreams without action are just hallucinations. Wishing does not change your circumstances. Work does. Wishing is passive. Working is powerful. And that's the hard truth most people avoid. They want the results without the grind, the glory without the scars. But success respects hustle, not hope. Every champion, every icon, every name etched in greatness got there not by sitting idle, but by sweating, sacrificing, and staying consistent when it wasn't convenient. They were the ones in the arena when others were on the sidelines. They were the ones up before the sun, putting in the reps, learning, failing, and rising, because they knew that every inch of success had to be earned, and they were willing to pay full price. You cannot outsource your climb. No one is coming to save you. No one can carry your dream but you. This journey demands your blood, your time, your total commitment. It asks for everything and then some, and only those who answer that call, who show up day after day, even when no one is watching, are the ones who eventually taste the reward. Success isn't magic, it's math. It's what happens when preparation meets action over time. Too many people confuse motion with progress. They talk big, they plan endlessly, they post about their goals, but they never execute. They stay trapped in the idea phase, seduced by the fantasy of achievement, afraid to face the grind required to earn it. Real success demands more than excitement. It demands execution, and execution is often boring, repetitive, and exhausting. That's why so few stay the course. But those who do, those who finish, they're the ones who rise. Wishing is comfortable. Working is uncomfortable. That's why most people choose wishing. They don't have to suffer for it. But anything you can get without pain has no power. It doesn't change you. It doesn't stretch you. It doesn't build you into the person success requires you to become. If it costs you nothing, it's probably worth the same. Success, real success, will cost you everything ordinary, but in return it gives you everything extraordinary. The difference between those who want it and those who get it? Action. Ruthless, focused, daily action. They don't wait until they feel ready. They move, they learn, they adjust, they fall and rise again. Every drop of sweat, every sacrifice, every choice to stay in the fight adds up. It deposits into a bank account of achievement that will one day pay out more than you imagine, but only if you keep depositing when no one claps and no one sees. So understand this. Wishing might make you feel good for a moment, but only doing will change your life. And if you want to live a life most never will, you have to do what most never do. Work when it's hard, show up when you're tired, push when others pause. Because success doesn't respond to wishes. It answers to work. Most people are waiting to feel ready before they take action. They wait for the perfect mood, the perfect moment, the perfect mindset. But that moment rarely comes, and while they wait, life keeps moving. Here's the truth. If you wait on your feelings, you'll be waiting forever. Greatness doesn't begin with motivation, it begins with movement. You don't act because you feel inspired. You feel inspired because you acted. Your emotions are not the driver of your destiny. They are the passengers. You cannot allow mood to dictate motion. You have to move regardless. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like doing it. That's what separates the amateurs from the achievers, the high performers, the elite, the successful. They've trained themselves to act first and trust that the feeling will follow. Think about it. How many times have you dreaded a workout, dreaded writing that proposal, dreaded making that difficult phone call? And then, once you did it, you felt energized, even proud. That's because action flips a switch. It shifts your chemistry. It activates momentum. The human brain is wired to reward progress. Every step forward sends signals that create focus, confidence, and strength. But the first step, that's on you. Motivation is not a prerequisite for action. It's a result of it. And the biggest lie you've been sold is that you need to feel ready before you begin. You don't. You need to begin in spite of how you feel, because when you act while tired, while scared, while uninspired, you prove to yourself that your will is stronger than your feelings. And that is where real power begins to grow. People who let feelings lead are slaves to circumstance. They let mood determine their momentum. And that's why they stay stuck. But those who rise, those who break through and build something extraordinary, have mastered the art of acting in the absence of emotion. They move even when it's hard, even when it's dark, even when no fire burns inside, because they understand that fire is built through friction. You cannot build a legacy on the back of emotions. Emotions are temporary. They shift like weather. You can't trust them to carry your dreams. But your actions, that's where consistency lives. You control what you do. You command your effort. And that effort will in time awaken the mindset you've been waiting for. Action wakes up belief. Action shakes off doubt. Action builds the very motivation you thought you needed first. Waiting to feel like it is a trap. It's a slow death of ambition. The successful understand this deeply. They know that movement creates clarity and progress creates power. When you sit still, you give your doubts time to grow. But when you act, even imperfectly, you give yourself a chance to win. And often all you need to do is start, because the energy you're looking for, it's on the other side of the work. So the next time you don't feel like showing up, show up anyway. The next time doubt creeps in, move anyway. The next time fear says not today, step forward anyway, because the truth is, action is the antidote. Movement is the medicine. And over time, the very feelings you are waiting for will begin to chase you. Motivation is a spark. It comes quick, burns bright, and fades fast. Discipline, on the other hand, is the fire that keeps the flame alive long after the excitement is gone. If you build your life on motivation, you'll rise and fall with your moods. But if you build your life on discipline, you become unstoppable. Because discipline shows up when you don't want to. It works when you're tired. It delivers when motivation has already left the building. Everyone feels motivated in the beginning. At the starting line, when the vision is fresh and the energy is high, it's easy to take action. But what happens on day 20? Day 200. What happens when the alarm goes off and there's no rush of inspiration waiting to lift you out of bed? That's when discipline steps in. Discipline is the muscle that carries you through the dead zones of desire. It's what keeps the train moving when the fuel of emotion runs out. Discipline is not glamorous. It doesn't make headlines. It's the quiet repetition, the gritty consistency, the early mornings and late nights where no one is clapping and no one is watching. It's waking up and doing the work because it needs to be done, not because you feel like doing it. That kind of effort builds a life that can't be shaken by circumstance, because discipline doesn't care about the weather. It shows up in the storm. The real champions, the ones who build empires, who sculpt excellence, who dominate their craft, aren't the most motivated. They're the most disciplined. They've trained themselves to execute regardless of emotion. They don't rely on external hype to move forward. They've internalized the process so deeply that action becomes automatic. And in a world where most people quit when the buzz fades, disciplined people win by default. Discipline is freedom. It may feel rigid at first, but over time it gives you power. Power over your schedule, power over your mind, power over your results. It removes the guesswork. No more should I or do I feel like it. You already know. You act because it's who you are. That level of identity shift is only possible when discipline becomes part of your DNA. And once it's there, you no longer negotiate with weakness. Think about it. Every breakthrough, every transformation, every peak performance you admire came from someone who showed up day after day, long after the excitement died. They pushed through plateaus. They kept swinging when the results were invisible. They didn't skip steps. That wasn't motivation. They had that for a moment. What carried them was discipline. When life throws chaos your way, and it will, motivation won't save you. It'll run. But discipline stays. Discipline keeps the wheels turning when the plan falls apart. It keeps you locked in when doubt comes knocking. It's your anchor when the tides of emotion try to pull you under, and the more you feed it, the stronger it becomes. Eventually, it becomes your foundation, unbreakable, immovable, reliable. So while the world waits for the perfect mood, the perfect playlist, the perfect sunrise, you move. Not because you feel like it, but because you're built for it, because you've chosen the higher path. And that path belongs not to the motivated, but to the disciplined. Comfort is a cage, cozy, familiar, and deadly to progress. It whispers soft lies. Stay here, you're fine, why push harder? But deep down we know the truth. Nothing extraordinary grows in ease. Every time you chase comfort, you sacrifice growth. Every time you avoid discomfort, you delay your potential. Growth does not show up when you're relaxed. It comes when your muscles burn, your mind screams, and you choose to stay in the fire. Look at anything that grows. A seed must break open to become a tree. Muscles must tear before they rebuild stronger. Minds must be stretched with challenge, resistance, and failure before they become sharp. Discomfort isn't a sign to stop. It's the signal that you're doing something that matters. It's not the enemy. It's the process. And if you can learn to embrace it, to sit with it, to lean into it, you become the kind of person who cannot be stopped. The average person runs from discomfort. The elite run toward it because they know that inside that discomfort is the version of themselves they haven't met yet, the one with sharper skills, deeper discipline, more power. They understand that pain has purpose. It's not there to break them, it's there to build them. Every hard thing you do is a brick in the foundation of your future. The more you endure, the more you evolve. Discomfort is the gym for your spirit. Every rep of discomfort, whether it's waking up early, facing rejection, pushing through fatigue, or standing tall in failure, trains your ability to rise. It teaches you how to adapt, how to fight, how to hold the line when others fold. While the world seeks convenience, the builders of greatness seek challenge, because they know that the version of you who can is born in the moments when you think you can't. Most people will never experience the thrill of growth because they never stay in the heat long enough. The second it hurts, they quit. The second it feels foreign, they pull back. But you're made for more. And that more only exists outside your comfort zone. If you want to experience a new level, you have to outgrow the old one. And outgrowing means stretching, and stretching hurts. But the pain is proof that expansion is happening. You will never rise by repeating the same safe steps. Growth requires risk. It demands exposure to new pressure. It calls for mental warfare against your inner comfort seeker. And that battle happens daily. The only way to win it is to reframe how you see pain. Instead of avoiding it, expect it, welcome it, let it sharpen you. When discomfort knocks, don't flinch, answer the door with purpose. Every next level of your life will require a next level of you. And that version won't arrive through soft living. It's earned through the days when you're exhausted but execute anyway. When your legs shake but you keep climbing. When you're scared but speak anyway. That's where the transformation lives. In the middle of the stretch, the fight, the resistance. That's where you become. So don't pray for things to be easier. Pray for the strength to handle harder. Don't avoid the burn. Chase it. Because every time you step into discomfort, you step out of limitation. Growth is not a feeling, it's a fight. And the ones who win are the ones who stop seeing discomfort as punishment and start seeing it as preparation.